Surprise, surprise. Disney is doing another shameless money grab by remaking their animated classics, Bambi and Pinocchio. So, let's break down the list of the animated movies that make you cry. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
It's a me,
Dario!
Woohoo! Let's go!
So we kind of talked about this in the morning show today, but we didn't get into the list, and I thought the list was super interesting, so let's break that down. But before I get into it, let me just give you a quick reminder. You can listen to the podcast anywhere. SoundCloud, YouTube, Spreaker, the iHeartRadio app, iTunes, everywhere. Just type in Super Dario World Podcast. You'll find it right there. Any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram or at Super Dario World. Also follow me on Facebook. I have a fan page there, Super Dario World. Anyway, so first off, the two movies that were announced, Disney and, the Disney announced Bambi and Pinocchio. One, to me, is just a shameless money grab, and they're going to do the same thing as they did with The Lion King. Like a photorealistic, still animated movie. It's not a fucking... The Lion King was not a live-action movie, all right? It was a photorealistic movie, but it's still an animated movie. Anyway, it was just a shameless money grab. And here's the issue with it, even bigger issue here. It doesn't currently have a director, but one of the writers, one of the people, which by the way, they don't need one because it's going to be the same fucking thing. One of the writers is the chick who wrote Captain Marvel, which I hate. So, not excited for that anymore. Actually, I wasn't never excited. It's going to be a charmless version of the original movie. I don't get why people think they can remake something that was already great. Like the arrogance in these a-holes. Well, first off, the arrogance. Second off, just Disney. It's a cash grab. It's a cash grab, and it's disgusting. We need to stop supporting this. The fucking live action Lady and the Tramp is on Disney Plus. I could watch it technically for free. I haven't watched it. I'm not supporting this garbage. I'm not. You can't support this garbage. You need to teach them a lesson. You need to make them lose money. Anywho, the other one, on the other hand, I guess could be kind of interesting. Like, I've mentioned this before. The live-action Mulan one, I'm actually interested in seeing it because it looks different. It looks like at least they changed stuff in the story. So I'm curious to see that one. But Pinocchio, the interesting thing here is that it will be co-written and directed by Robert Zemeckis. I'm sorry, that's how you say his name. Robert Zemeckis, who is a legit director. Dude, for those of you who don't know, he's responsible for Back to the Future, Forrest Gump, Castaway, Flight, Beowulf. So the dude is an amazing director. So I have a little bit, more hopes on Pinocchio, but still not as much as... I'm still torn. I need to wait to see something for it. Because I don't like this. I don't like that they're doing this. I think Disney is better than this. I think they should take risks on... original material like they used to, but what can you do? Anyway, so the list is super long, and I'm just going to start at the top 30. I'm going to go through to the last ones very quickly. Some of them, I'll make a quick note on one another. So again, this is not my list. All right, this is from Ranker.com, the list of the animated movies that make you cry. All right, these are the animated movies that make you cry. So, number 30, we have Mulan, which I thought was weird because I don't really remember a part in the movie that actually makes you want to cry. At least not off the top of my head. And I know Mulan pretty well. 29, we have the 1978 movie Watership Down. Now, for those of you who didn't see it, it's kind of an interesting story, but it's about rabbits. I'm not a big fan of the animation in this movie, but it's brutal. It's very, very violent. It's not for kids. I don't think it's for kids. It's basically about a group of rabbits that's running away from devastation, and The movie's based on a book that it was used rabbits as a metaphor for something else. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, not a big fan of it. Also, I haven't seen it since I was very little. And yeah, the movie's not for kids. Just because it's animated, it's not for kids. It's very brutal. Anyway, number 28, we have Ice Age, which again, I don't remember anything sad from Ice Age. Like, nothing really that made me cry. Brave, the thing with the parents is really rough, so I guess I could see that one. Wreck-It Ralph, I don't remember anything really that was sad. Not off the top of my head. Number 25, we have Beauty and the Beast. The original one. same issue. I don't really see it as a sad movie. Like I don't see a moment that would make you cry. Maybe when the last petal falls, but I don't see it because there weren't really any consequences about it. Anywho, number 24, we have Spirited Away. This is a Japanese animated film by Hayao Miyazaki, produced by Studio Ghibli. Studio Ghibli is basically the Japanese Disney. The movie's really good, really good. I don't think it's that sad. It has really real moments in it, mixed in with all the magic, but I guess it's fine for the top 25. Number 23, we have Toy Story, which I don't see it. I don't really see Toy Story as sad. No, not. But the problem is that the other ones are way sadder. So number 23, I guess, is fine. Number 22, we have An American Tale. Now this one is actually pretty sad, especially the moment when he loses his parents. That's his entire family. That's that. Okay, I'll give you that one. An American Tale. Number 21, we have Lilo and Stitch. I recently saw this one. I saw it when it came out originally in 2002, but I recently rewatched it. That movie is extremely good. It's probably underrated how good it is. I don't know if it's possible that age has made me a little bit softer, or maybe not age, just experience. Because once you grow up, you experience different things. You understand certain feelings a little bit better, and so certain things affect you now that it didn't before. You just didn't understand it. You didn't understand the consequences of stuff. Maybe that could be it. But yeah, I recently rewatched it, and yeah, I could see the moments that could get you, like Stitch out there in the wilderness alone, like Ohana. Again, I'll try not to spoil things. Actually, sorry. You know what? Spoiler alerts. I will spoil things on this list, especially moving on with the ones that are higher up. By the way, I know my top 3. Picking between the top 3 is hard, but to me, easily off the top of my head, as soon as I heard about this list, I knew which ones were going to be the saddest. But I'll get into that later. Anywho, number 20, we have Toy Story 2, which I guess is sadder than the original, so it's fine. I still don't remember an actual moment where you're heartbroken. Number 19, we have How to Train Your Dragon 2. I don't see it. Like, the original How to Train Your Dragon, I thought was sad. Again, that makes you cry. That's a high standard. That's a really high standard. Number 18, we have Brother Bear. Now, Brother Bear is actually pretty interesting because it does have a heartbreaking moment in it. So, okay, it's fine. Number 18. Number 17 is a disgrace that it's so fucking low. Number 17 is probably the most depressing, sad movie I've ever seen. And it's another Japanese film, Grave of the Fireflies. Don't watch this movie unless you want to be depressed. Like, watching that movie is so depressing. It's beautifully made. It's a very interesting story, but it's so fucking depressing. It's so fucking sad. Like, I don't even know if I'd say it makes you cry, but it makes you depressed. Like, it's heartbreaking. It's a heartbreaking story about siblings that are just basically trying to survive throughout World War II in Japan when, they're getting their asses whooped. So it's a beautiful movie, but if you're going to watch it, you have to be in the mood to get seriously, seriously depressed. It's very sad. So to me, that would be in the top 3 because it's the most depressing movie I've ever seen. Anywho, next, number 16. This one should be way higher. Coco. Coco should be way higher. Coco is freaking heartbreaking. I don't know if it's because I'm Mexican or something. Probably. But it's really, really brutally heartbreaking. I don't understand how it could be this low. Honestly, I can't understand how this movie is so low. There's a certain brilliance in the movie that it's named the character that it's named. Well, the character whose name is the title of the movie. Is kind of not in the movie so much, but the weight that she has in the whole story is fantastic. The way that Pixar handled that whole story is phenomenal. I loved it. I saw Coco and my heart broke, and I get it. That one truly gets to you because we've all had people in our lives that we've lost. It tackles a topic of death, lost, being forgotten. It's heartbreaking. That one gets to me. It gets to me. This one should be way higher, way higher. Anywho, number 15 we have Charlotte's Web, the original one, the 1973 one. Again, I'm not a big fan of the animation, but the story is pretty sad, so alright, I'll allow it. Number 14, we have All Dogs Go to Heaven, which also is brutal. It's a dog dying. The premise of the movie is the dog dies. So it's it's starting off kind of a rough spot. Rough spot. Number 13. I don't fucking get this. Monsters Inc. What the hell is it from Monsters Inc. that makes you cry? What is it? What is it? Just that he lets the girl go? There's other movies where characters fucking die. Monsters Inc. He just lets the girl go home. Like that's it. That's it. So yeah, no, should not be there. Should be way down the list. At least it should not be above the 4 that I just mentioned. Not even, all right, it should not be above Brother Bear, Grave of the Fireflies, Coco, Charlotte's Web, or All Dogs Go to Heaven. Definitely not. Anywho, number 12, we have The Iron Giant. Now, fun fact about this movie, for those of you who don't know, The Iron Giant is actually voiced by Vin Diesel. Dominic Toretto, he voices the Iron Giant. I'll give it to you, this movie is extreme. It's underrated, I think. The Iron Giant is underrated. It has its moment. It's like an inspiring, heartbreaking moment. It's great. I really enjoy that movie. I highly recommend watching it if you haven't seen it. Number 11, we have Finding Nemo. Yeah, I guess Finding Nemo would be sadder if you're the start off of the movie is just brutal. Like the dude loses, Marlin loses his wife, all of his kids except one. It is pretty brutal. Honestly, Pixar has a lot of brutal beginnings. That's probably the most brutal one. It doesn't hit you as hard because it's really quick and it's fish, so you don't really care that much. But if you put it into context, imagine a story that begins with a father who has, let's say, quintuplets, and whose wife gets murdered, and four of the 5 quintuplets get murdered too. And not only murdered, eaten. But it is pretty brutal. So, yeah, I think that's the most brutal start. Anywho, I don't really remember crying over it. So, because again, it's fish, and you don't really care about fish. And it's too early in the movie. You don't care about the characters yet. And the endings... nope, I don't think it should have been lower, especially compared to the ones that I mentioned. Number 10, we reached the top 10 here, ladies and gentlemen. Reached the top 10, so I'll spend a little bit more time on these. So number 10, we have maybe my favorite Pixar film. I don't know why it doesn't get more attention, but this is my favorite. WALL-E. WALL-E is cinematic genius. It's a movie where the main character can't really talk. Like there's like Eva. There's like 5 lines from the main character, yet you understand his feelings perfectly, and it's a fucking robot. And yet you understand everything perfectly. And I guess the sad part about this movie is, again, spoiler alert, is at the end where WALL-E, they change his chip and he doesn't really remember anything. So Eva is like, oh my god, like my WALL-E, he's turned into a robot, which she already was a robot, but it's not my robot. So it is pretty sad. It does get to you, but again, really no consequences in the end. I wouldn't say it makes you cry. I say it's sad, but it's a brilliant film. I don't know why. It's super underrated. I love WALL-E. Anywho, number 9, we have Big Hero 6. Now, Big Hero 6, I'm guessing that the sad part here is when he loses his brother in the beginning. That's actually pretty brutal. It's pretty brutal because you've already spent time with the brother. You know the character a little bit more. I mean, if you know anything about film, you kind of already know that dude's going to get it. The brother was too perfect not to get killed off in a superhero movie. So it's kind of like Uncle Ben, right? In Spider-Man. So you kind of see it coming a little bit. I get it. Oh god. Is it really make you cry? I don't think it made me cry. And I have a lot of brothers, so no, didn't hit me. In number 8, again, the list of animated movies that make you cry, we have Inside Out, another Pixar movie. Now, honestly, it's a great movie. It's extremely well handled. It tackles with a lot of psychological issues very, very well. However, I've never been a teenage girl, so I couldn't relate that much to it. Sky says that it deals with a lot of the teenage girl emotions very well, and so it's like, that's what gets to you. To me, I didn't really go through that, so I don't really understand it that well. But, alright, okay, well, I mean, sure, why not? But it's a movie about if emotions had emotions, so, yeah, it'll make you sad. It'll make you cry, probably. Number 7, again, this is bonkers. This is one of my top 3. My personal top 3. we have The Land Before Time. Now, this movie does something that another movie that it's in my top 3 does, and you probably, if you've listened to my podcast at all, you probably already know which one is my other one of the top 3. But when Littlefoot loses his mother to the T-Rex, and he's trying to wake her up, it's brutal. It's brutal. Like, I've always talked about this. Sometimes the genius of a movie, the reason why a movie makes you cry, it's not so much that a character dies, it's the reaction of the characters that are still alive, right? So here you have Littlefoot trying to wake up the mother, trying to, stay close to the cadavers, trying to still be near her. That's her mom. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know where to go. It is heartbreaking and brutal, and he's out there in the big, brutal, scary world trying to survive. It is an amazing fucking movie, and it's heartbreaking, and I love dinosaurs, and I don't know. I love that franchise in general, but yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal. Also, fun fact, it was produced by Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, and Kathleen Kennedy. So, there you go. This one should be way higher, at least for me. Number 6, we have The Fox and the Hound. The doomed friendship between Todd and Copper. It's a beautiful when the old lady lets Todd go and he's just looking at her and like, I don't understand what's happening. It's like, oh my God, it gets ya. It's sad. Again, not as sad as losing your fucking mother to a T-Rex. So it's okay. I'll allow it. Top 10, sure, whatever. Number 5, we have Dumbo. The beginning is probably the hardest part. The thing with the mother. Oh, ooh, yeah. Dumbo is a good movie. I remember, probably of the Disney movies, it wasn't my favorite because the whole drunk scene really freaked me out. Like dun 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 dun. When it's like all the bubbles, elephant bubbles, it just freaked me out. Like I don't understand what I'm seeing. So I didn't really like it that much. Looking back on it, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good movie, and yeah, that thing with the mom is just, it's brutal. It's brutal. Again, it's more of the reaction than what is actually, well, what's happening is pretty bad. At the reaction, heartbreaking. Number 4, we have Toy Story 3. Now, I don't get this. To me, this, okay, I'll allow it. It is a very sad movie. It does make you cry. But the thing that made most people cry is not the thing that affected me. Like, a lot of people, like, get really sad when they hold hands and they're like, about to go into the furnace and whatnot. To me, that didn't really get to me. The moment that got me is when Andy's with a little girl, and the little girl, and he's giving her all the toys, and Andy has Woody in his hands, and so the little girl reaches out to him, and Andy pulls back. He pulls back. He's not ready to let go. It gets there. It gets it right in the feels, bro. Right in the feels. I feel you, dude. That's that moment right there. That's a brutal moment. Well, not brutal. It's just beautiful and heartwarming, and it's a great film moment. To me, it's my favorite moment in that entire trilogy. And actually, it's not even in the top 30. But Toy Story 4, I thought was sadder overall because, again, it probably has to do, 1, with age, 2, with the stage that you're in your life when I watched it. And Toy Story 4 is basically about Woody not knowing his place in the world, not knowing his purpose anymore, and he's trying to find meaning in life again. And so it's like I could relate to that more. And it's like he doesn't have his person anymore, right? He's lost his star. He used to be his number 1, and now he doesn't have that anymore. So he lost his sure footing. So I thought it was really, honestly, I liked Toy Story 4 more than all the other ones. And overall, I thought it was sadder. By the way, another one that I thought that should be here, and it's not here in the top 30, Cars 3. It's really sad that Lightning doesn't have it anymore. It's really sad. Like, again, I guess it has to do with the stage of life you're in, when you're like, man, like, life, like, I don't have it anymore. Life is leaving me behind. It gets to you. I thought it was sad. Poor Lightning. Anywho, number 3, we reached the top 3 here. Top 3. We have, obviously, it had to be mentioned. Well, not mentioned. It had to be, in the top 10. Easily top 5, sure. Top 5. We have the 1942 classic, Bambi. Now, Bambi is brutal. The thing with the mom, again, the killing off moms, it's brutal, all right? I don't want to get into it. I want to get into it. No, but it's yeah. I mean, do I really need to explain this one? I don't think I do. If you've seen Bambi, you understand it. It was handled very well. Again, it's Bambi going out into the wild trying to find his mom. That really gets to you because you don't really see the mom die. You understand it, but it's him trying to be out there. He's out there lost in the world. It's brutal. It's heartbreaking. Again, well, I'll talk about this more in the next one. Number 2, this one should be in the top 3. This one is in my top 3, and so you probably guessed it already. 1994 classic, The Lion King. Probably my favorite Disney film, based on Hamlet, and also Koba the White Lion, but nobody really talks about that. We don't talk about that. Yeah, as you can imagine, the death of Mufasa, it's brutal. It's heartbreaking. It's one of the saddest moments in all of cinema. And again, it's not really just that Mufasa dies. It's that Simba tries to wake him up. He's like, Dad, come on. Dad, we gotta go home. Dad. Oh, it's brutal, bro. It's brutal. It's, that moment scarred me. Like that scene from that movie scarred me. I saw it when I was a kid. So it came out in 1994. I remember seeing it in theaters. So I was like 5. So yeah, it marked me. It marked a very, very important part of me. It's too much. Plus the music and everything. No. So now there's a difference here. And I mentioned 3 movies that it's the death of a parent and then followed by the reaction. Here's the difference. So Bambi and The Lion King, they lose a parent, but there's an immediate character that comes by afterwards, right? In The Lion King, Scar comes there. So kind of Simba has a person that he can hold on to, even if it's for a second, right? He feels protected, even if it's for a second. Then afterwards, he gets chased by hyenas, and he's focused on that, trying to survive. Bambi, his dad, the king of the forest, it's not really clear if it's his dad or not, but I'm assuming it's his dad. His dad shows up, and then he starts taking care of him. So again, protected. In The Land Before Time, that kid is there, but Littlefoot is there by himself, right? He's there mourning by himself by his mother's cadaver, and it's the whole freaking night, and who knows how much longer. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's an underrated film. Honestly, Land Before Time, underrated film. I love it. It's great. The whole franchise, I love it. Well, I haven't seen the newest ones, I guess, but the ones that I saw, love them. The best one is by far the first one. So actually, if you just see the first one, that's actually good enough. And number 1, I get it. I understand it. Number 1 of the movies that make you cry, we have Up, animated movies that cry. Up. Yeah, that opening sequence, again, heartbreaking. And it's the reaction, the dude losing the love of his life, and you kind of get to spend a little bit of time together, and you feel bad. And I get it. It got to me too. But to me, my top 3, actually, I can give you my top 5. Top 3. It would be The Lion King, Land Before Time, Grave of the Fireflies. I'm not exactly sure in what order yet. I'm not sure in what order. It's probably... Grave of the Fireflies is sad overall. It's sad overall, but if the one that has the saddest moment to me is The Land Before Time, then followed by The Lion King, but overall the saddest one is like Grave of the Fireflies. I don't know. I guess if I have to rank just by the moment, it'd be those. But if I have to pick the one that depresses you the most, it's definitely Grave of the Fireflies. And then Bambi's number 4. Bambi's for sure number 4. Number 5, we'd have an interesting fight. Because I think the Iron Giants would be... No, number 5, Coco. That's it. That would be my top 5. So I'm going Land Before Time, Lion King, Grave of the Fireflies, Bambi or Coco? Bambi, then Coco. That's it. That's how I'm picking my top 5. Anyway, that's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed that. As always, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me on Instagram at Dario the Show or at SuperDario_World. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you again tomorrow.